Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about demand and the determinants of demand. So yesterday we talked about the law of demand, and the law of demand states that when prices increase, people will buy a lower quantity of something, and when prices decrease, people will buy a higher quantity. So that's the relationship between price and quantity demanded. Now we're going to talk about actual demand changing. So a change in demand is that people are willing and able to buy more or less regardless of price. So that relationship between price and quantity is going to change. So an example would be that at $5, people would buy maybe 10 t-shirts if they cost $5. But now people would buy 10 t-shirts at $8. So that relationship is changing. The demand schedule is shifting. So there are 5 determinants of demand that we are going to see today. And these are, again, reasons that demand as a whole would change. So the first determinant is change in expectations of future price or availability. So an example of that would be if you are, say, driving and you know that tomorrow gas prices are going to rise, regardless of the price today changing, you're going to see demand increase today because people know that the price is going to change in the future. Another example in terms of availability would be that if you knew there was going to be a shortage of gas in the future, you would get gas today regardless of the price, because you wouldn't want to be stuck in a situation where you weren't able to get gas. So that is a change in expectations of future price or availability. The next one is a change in consumer preferences or tastes. And this is probably the easiest one, I would think, because it's about popularity. The example that I gave in class is a great example, mom jeans. They might have sold mom jeans 5 years ago, but very few people would have bought them. And it's not as if today the price of mom jeans has changed. It's the fact that they're now popular. So regardless of price, demand for mom jeans is going up. But that also means that skinny jeans, right? They were really popular 5 years ago. Among the Gen Z crowd, they were still popular, I should say. And now among the Gen Z crowd, skinny jeans are no longer popular. So regardless of price, fewer people are going to buy skinny jeans. The third determinant of demand is the change in the number of people in a market. So an example of this is when they build new housing developments in Broomfield or Westminster, you see an increase in demand because the population of the city has increased. So you're going to see more demand for goods and services at King Super simply because there are more people. And if there's an area that loses population, demand is going to decrease, again, simply because there's fewer people buying those goods and services in that particular area. The next one is a change in a person's income. If people get a raise at work, then they're going to probably buy more regardless of price. They're going to buy a higher quantity of goods or services. So maybe you get a raise at work and you go out and buy a fancy car. It's not that the price of the fancy car has changed, but if you do that and your colleagues who also got a raise at work do that, then you're going to see an increase in demand for fancy cars. And the same would be true if there was an economic downturn, like when people were laid off because of coronavirus. You'd see less of a demand for some of the goods and services that people would have bought if they had that income. And the last one, which is probably the hardest and contains a couple of new vocabulary words, is the change in the price of a substitute or complementary good. So I'm going to show you substitute goods and then complementary goods. So a substitute good is one that can be used instead of something else. So we have Coke and Pepsi, but at Costco, they have a generic brand of cola. And so that would be an example of a substitute good. You can use one for the other. So another example would be two different brands of shampoo. They're substitutes for each other. So if price for Suave rises that for shampoo, then you're not going to buy Suave, maybe you'll buy Pantene. The price of Pantene, the good we're looking at, hasn't changed. But because a different good's price changed, it's going to affect demand for Pantene. And in this case, Pantene's demand would go up. So now a complementary good is a good that goes with something else. More examples are peanut butter and jelly. So people like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they like them together. So they're complementary goods. So if the price of peanut butter rises, then people are going to buy fewer jars of jelly. It's not that the price of jelly changed if we're looking at jelly. It's just that if peanut butter gets really expensive, then people might not want to buy jelly because they're not going to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So another example could be bicycles and bicycle helmets. If the price of bikes decreases, then you're going to see an increase in demand for bicycle helmets because more people are buying bikes. So people who buy bikes would hopefully buy helmets because that's safer. So these are the determinants of demand, and we will work with them more in class, and I hope you have a good day.